Hey, today I'm going to walk you through a simple webSlinger workflow from start to finish. No experience needed. By the end of this video, you'll understand better how webSlinger works, and you'll have seen it automatically extract data from a real website. Here's the idea behind webSlinger. Instead of writing code to automate a website, you just show webSlinger what you want. You do the task once, manually, in your own browser, and webSlinger watches, learns the pattern, and turns it into a script that can repeat that same task automatically as many times as you need. For this tutorial, the task is simple. Look up the current temperature for a city on AccuWeather. We'll show webSlinger how to do it for one city, then we'll give it a list of 4 cities and let it run. We can get to the Record tab by clicking Start Recording Session. The first field is the starting URL, the website where we want to begin. That's AccuWeather's homepage. I've already filled that out. The second field is the task description. This is a plain English description of what we want the automation to do. Think of it as instructions you're writing for a smart assistant. Let's write, get the current temperature in Fahrenheit for a list of cities. Now the goals. This is where webSlinger gets specific about what data is involved. Goals come in 2 kinds, inputs and extractions. An input is data we provide to the automation, something that could be changed for each run. In our case, the city name. The recommended syntax for an input goal is input, space, followed by the variable name, and then an optional dash followed by a description. Here we put city name as the variable name. I like to use camel case for the variable names, but that's not required. An extraction is data we want webSlinger to collect from the website. Here we want the current temperature. The syntax for an extraction goal is extract, space, followed by the variable name, and an optional dash and description. Here we put current temperature. The goals are essentially demonstration goals. We're going to demonstrate for webSlinger where to enter the city name and where to extract current temperature. webSlinger will record that information along with any navigation to get from one goal to another. So that's the whole plan. One input, one extraction. We're going to show webSlinger how to go from a city name to a temperature reading, and it will handle the rest. Now we click Ready. webSlinger checks that everything is filled in and tells us to activate the extension. We do that by clicking the webSlinger icon in the browser toolbar. Upon activation, webSlinger opens 3 tabs. I have the display configuration set to side by side, so we see the main tab on the left. This is where we do the work, where we'll type, click, and interact with the website to show webSlinger what we want. The right tab is the validation tab. This one is controlled entirely by webSlinger. Here's why it exists. Every time we do something on the main tab, webSlinger immediately replays that same action in the validation tab, on its own, programmatically. If the validation tab does it correctly, webSlinger knows it has captured the action in a way that will actually work when the automation runs later. If it can't replicate it, we'll know right away and can try a different approach. The validation tab is webSlinger proving to itself and to us that it can do what we just showed it. Now look at the overlay in the upper right corner of the main tab. That's our control panel during recording. It shows our goals as a checklist, and at the bottom there's a validation log that records the outcome of each action we take. Our first goal is the input. We need to input a city name into the search box and show webSlinger that this is the data we'll be supplying each time the automation runs. Before we do, notice the checkbox on the overlay for trusted mode. For the input in the search box for this site to work, we need trusted mode enabled, so we click on this box. So far, this site is the only site I've needed to use trusted mode on. So if you try an input and it doesn't work as advertised, trying trusted mode is an option. To show webSlinger where to enter the city name, we click on the input button on the overlay. webSlinger has highlighted every input element it found on the page. The blue box is a text input. That's our search box. Now we right-click on it to configure the input. The context menu opens where we tell webSlinger what value to use for our demonstration. I'll type Memphis, Tennessee as an example city and click Record. Watch both tabs. The main tab just searched for Memphis. That's us submitting in the box we clicked on. Now look at the Validation tab on the right. It just did the exact same thing on its own. webSlinger took what we showed it, figured out where to replicate it programmatically, and immediately proved it could. The validation log at the bottom of the overlay confirms it succeeded. That's the whole point of the Validation tab. It's not just recording what we did. It's verifying right now, while we're still in the recording session, that the action is something it can reliably repeat later. If the Validation tab had failed, if the search hadn't fired, we'd know immediately and could try a different approach. We don't have to wait until the automation runs to find out if something doesn't work. Both tabs are showing the same results page. AccuWeather is giving us a list of places that match our search. We want the first one. That's the most relevant result, and it's what we'll always want when the automation runs for any city. I'll click on the first result in the main tab. Again, watch both tabs. The main tab navigated to Memphis's weather page after our click, and the Validation tab followed immediately. It identified the first result on its own page and clicked it independently. Both tabs are now on the same weather page. The validation log confirms the navigation succeeded. webSlinger knows it can find and click that element reliably. We see the current temperature for Memphis right up front now. We need to tell webSlinger to extract it. We click the Extract button on the overlay. Just as the Input button highlighted input fields, the Extract button has highlighted everything on this page that webSlinger can pull data from. Now I right-click on the displayed temperature to see my options. The context menu shows the extraction options for this element, with a preview of the actual value that would be captured for each extraction option shown in white. I want the full text for this item, which includes the value and the units. I click on it, then click Record. The validation log confirms current temperature was captured. Both goals in our checklist are now complete, the input and the extraction. The recording of what we just did is called a session map. It's not a script yet. It's a structured record of the navigation and actions we demonstrated, which webSlinger will use to generate a script. We click Save, give it a name, and the session map is saved to the server. We're done recording. Now we go back to the webSlinger website to turn the session map into a runnable script. The Generate page walks us through a few steps. Step 1. Choose the session map we just saved. Step 2. Name the script. We can also edit the task description here. This is a good place to give webSlinger extra guidance now that we've done the recording. I'm going to add a second sentence to the task, include city name in the output data for each city. Why? When the automation runs for multiple cities, we'll get back multiple temperatures. Without this instruction, the output might just be a list of numbers with no labels. They'd be in the same order as the city names, so we could make sense of them, but for reading the file, it is more convenient to have the name with the temperature. Step 3. Metadata review. webSlinger has matched our recorded data to our session goals. City name as the input, current temperature as the output. It's done that correctly, so we can move on. Step 4. Input data structure. Here's where we tell webSlinger that city name isn't just a single value. It's going to be a list of cities. I check the box next to city name to mark it as an array. That means the generated script will loop through a list of city names and perform the full search and extract workflow for each one. Now we click Generate. Script generation can take a minute or two. webSlinger is analyzing our session map and writing the automation code. In this case, it finished quickly. The script is ready, and because we have input data, webSlinger has prepared a template file we can use to specify our list of cities. Let's download it. Here is the template. It's a simple data file, JSON format, pre-filled with the example city we used during recording, Memphis, Tennessee. This is the input the automation will read each time it runs. We want 4 cities, so let's add 3 more. I'll add Denver, Colorado, Miami, Florida, and Seattle, Washington. 4 cities total. I save the file where I can find it later. Now to the automation page, where we can finally run our script. I select the script we just generated, Then upload the input file with 4 cities and click Ready. webSlinger checks that everything is in order and tells us to activate the extension again, this time to run the automation, not record it. I click the extension icon. webSlinger has opened its automation tab and is running the script. Watch. It goes to AccuWeather, types Memphis, Tennessee, clicks the first result, grabs the temperature, then it starts over with Denver, then Miami, then Seattle. Note that the extractions are being recorded in the automation log. Let's speed this up. Done. The output file downloaded automatically. Let's open it. Here's our data. 4 cities, 4 temperatures, all labeled. Memphis, Denver, Miami, Seattle, each with their current temperature in Fahrenheit. Exactly what we asked for. Think about what just happened. We did the task manually once for 1 city. webSlinger watched, learned the pattern, and then repeated it 4 times automatically, including the search, the result selection, and the data extraction, all without any coding. That's webSlinger. You show it, it learns, it runs. Head over to webslinger.ai to try it yourself. Thanks for watching.